Chapter 3, where do I start? This is what gets people a lot of the time, I think, when they're doing something quite advanced with Vivids is where the hell do I start? Now, the first thing that I consider before I start anyone is how they wear their hair and what color they want to see most of. So establish your main color, your dominant color first. Ask them, what are your favorite colors? Like if someone says to me, I want rainbow hair, I would first establish where they part their hair. So say they part their hair here. Okay, what color do you want to see on your part? Because this color that you're going to see on your part is going to be the most dominant color. That's what you're going to see most of. So it's important that you know what colors they're comfortable with. Like if I just go and do a rainbow and I put yellow on her part, do you think she would be very happy? Maybe not. So maybe I want to just check that, what color that is going to end up where she sees it the most is a color that she's going to love. So like pink or purple usually. And just, think about things like that when you do it. So if I was to do a rainbow, a pinwheel like I did in my last course, I would just ask her, what color do you want to see on through the part? And make sure I land on that so that she feels comfortable. Also, what you've got to think of is how do they wear their hair? Does she wear her hair down most of the time, or does she like to tie it up? And if she does tie it up, what colors are we going to see around the face? Think about these things before you start, okay? Because these are really important, is through the parting and when she ties her hair up. When you've got a balayage, it's not so crucial because you've got that dark base. Everything is going to look a lot more blended and a lot less patchy. But if you're doing multiple colors and you've got like a scalp bleach, for example, and you don't have those dark balayage roots, that's when it is going to be a lot more important for you. So ask, number one, how do they wear their hair? Establish the parting and the sides when it goes up. Think about these things when you are thinking about your placement and the way that you want to place things. And obviously you're going to have to think about, what sort of color she wants and how you want it to look. I personally prefer to work on balayages just because that's my own little taste. I find them a lot more easier maintenance, and honestly there's just less thinking. There's less thinking about it. I don't have to really worry about all those things because it's just a balayage. Tricks of the trade. And it's a lot easier, low maintenance for my clients. Most of my clients, they want something that's low maintenance that they can maintain, and when they don't see me for a couple of months, it will all just kind of fade out nicely for them. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably noticed that. Now something I may mention to you regarding formulation is if you use any kind of plex, such as Olaplex, you can actually mix them into your direct dye bowls as well. You can mix them in and you can either do one or two or both, depending on how damaged the hair is. And that way, the whole time that your color is on that client's hair and it's processing, it's actually giving them a treatment as well. And so that's going to save you time and obviously make you a bit more money. So that's something that you certainly can do. Don't be afraid to do that, and just explain to your client that you're giving them an Olaplex treatment as well. And obviously you're going to have to charge them for that. Now I have got 6 color bowls that I'm going to use for my 6 rainbow colors. Also, it's important to keep a towel nearby just so that you can wipe your hands, because just to avoid cross-contamination, you're going to need to wipe your hands quite often. Now I want to just take you through how, my thought process when I mix colors. I always use conditioner pretty much even in my Vivids because I like to adjust the consistency. It's not just about adjusting the color for me, but a lot of the times with these, they are so thick and concentrated, they just don't spread very well through the hair. So I'll always just give it a few pumps just to kind of help the spreadability. So always start with your lightest colors first. So I'm going to start with my conditioner, which is the lightest color, being that it's white. I like a hot pink. They're really my favorite, but say you haven't got this hot pink. Say you've only got this magenta color and you want to create this hot pink. I want to just show you how to do that because it's just good stuff to know. And we've got our color wheel down here. So I want a hot pink. Where is it? There it is. I want a hot pink. I've only got this magenta kind of pink. So what are we going to do? To change it, we're going to add yellow to swing it from being more like a purple to more over to the warm side, all right? Let's do that. It's one of my favorites, this Joico magenta. I love it. Knocking things over, sorry. Okay, so let's just add a bit in there. So you can see I've got my conditioner, well, you probably can't see because it's a bit bright, but I've got my conditioner in there first. I've just added a little bit of magenta, and now I'll just mix it up and see what I get. Love this color. So this is what I've got from my magenta. So it is actually quite a purpley kind of pink. You might not see on the camera, but it is a more purpley pink, and I want a more hot pink. So I'm going to add yellow. Now remember, when this, you probably don't actually need to add yellow in this scenario, because I'm adding yellow when it touches her hair, because her hair is yellow. But let's just say, for example, she's a perfect white blonde and I want to make up a hot pink. So I'm going to add some yellow. See how the yellow in her hair would change this anyway? It all comes into factor. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow here. Get out. And this is just going to make it more of a hot pink. It's not going to make it orange, I mean, unless I were to add heaps, but it's just going to change it and just make it a bit more of that hot pink and a bit less of the purpley mauvey kind of pink. Awesome. So that's done it. I don't know, I hope that you can tell. It might be a bit hard for you to see on the camera, but I can definitely notice the difference. And so what I've done is, by adding that yellow, I've made it more into this hot pink, even though, say, all I had to use in my back room was this and a bit of yellow. So that's how you can use that color wheel to really get any color that you want, so long as you've got, you know, the few basics. So we've changed it from that more over to here by adding that bit of yellow. Simple. It's actually really simple once you figure it out, you know, and you start to realize the stuff that you kind of already know, but you just don't think about. So there's our pink. Now the next color that I'm going to do is going to be a yellow, and that's not going to be a very difficult one. I'm just going to mix up a bit of yellow, and I'm diluting it a bit with conditioner. This yellow in particular, it is a more orangey kind of yellow, so I always like to dilute this one. See how orangey it is? And how thick it is? That's really thick consistency. Now I'm going to mix up a green. Starting off with my conditioner, with my white. Now what kind of green do you want to create? I don't know what kind of green I want to create. I mean, I don't want it to blend in too much with my blue. We can either do a greeny blue or a bluey green, but not both. I reckon we do a bluey green, and then instead of doing this greeny blue, we do a more like blue velvet, so that they don't look too the same. You know, you don't want them looking too similar, because then we'll just end up looking a bit too blue and green, you know what I mean? Blue and green, you know what I mean? A lot of the time I won't even do green or orange in my rainbows, because I find that when you place things in the color wheel, you quite often don't need to, because where I put my yellow right next to my pink, I'm going to get that little bit of orange where they meet anyway, and where I put my blue next to my yellow, I'm going to get that little bit of green anyway. So a lot of the time I'll just leave them out, because they are generally less desirable, but this time I want to do a full rainbow. No colours missed. I haven't actually got a whole lot of green. A little bit of my Manic Panic green. Just going to need a tiny bit of this. So that's some strong green. So I'm going to mix that up first before I add my blue, so that I can see what I'm working with, because if I was to add a dot of blue right now, I'm really just pointing in the dark. So that's the green that I've got so far. It's looking a little bit too pastel, so I know I need to add a bit more. But you know, if you don't have green, you can always make it. Like, you just start off with your yellow and you just add a little bit of blue into your yellow, and you can create this. Like, all you really need is like your primary colors, and you can create anything you want. And it's just more satisfying, honestly. Once you start mixing and formulating and making things as you go, it's just so much more satisfying. I really feel like a crazy scientist. Okay, so that's more of a green. And what's going to happen is, if I were to put this green on her hair is yellow, so her hair is going to add yellow to my green. So I might think I have a nice bluey green at the moment, but once it hits her hair, it's going to go more Shrek green. So let's counteract that by adding a little bit of blue in here, so that when this touches this, it's going to counteract that. Or not so much as counteract it, but we're accounting for her hair in our formulation by adding that blue, because we're going to add yellow later. You with me? I'm going to use a bit of my Pravana blue, super, super strong. So I'm just doing like a dot. See that dot? It's like nothing. And what a difference it makes. It's crazy. I'm happy with how it looks now, like the color that it looks now, but I know it's going to change when it hits this hair, so I'm going to just swing it a little more over the blue side to account for that, even though I'm happy with how it looks now. It's not going to stay that way. This is why I never really formulate, like, you know, I never measure. It's all just to the eye. You never really know. You want to make sure that you really do mix things in properly when you're doing, when you're using bright colors like this, because if you don't, you will get little patches and it will not be fun. Okay, so that is really like starting to go more to the kind of blue side. So when the yellow hits it, it's going to kind of come back to the emerald green that we're aiming for. So this is the kind of green we're aiming for. Time for my orange. Orange is pretty simple. It's already pre-mixed. Just my Pravana orange, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry too much about that, but I mean, obviously, again, what's going to happen is when this orange touches this yellow, it's going to contribute, so it's going to make it a brighter, lighter orange. I'm okay with that, but it's just something to note and something that you need to think about when you're formulating. I love Pravana orange. It's my favorite orange. I've tried a lot of oranges that I'm not happy with, but I love this orange. This yellow hair, this is going to contribute to every single color I put on it by adding yellow. I'm okay with that. I just formulate for that. I mean, like, if this were a client, is it worth taking her to a level 10? Is it worth it? Is it worth, you know, damaging her hair that much? A lot of the times I don't think it's worth it. Blue, time for my blue. So because we did a bluey green, I don't want to do a greeny blue because they're going to be like just too similar to each other and I want them to look different. So I'm going to aim for this blue here, and the way that I'm going to mix it is I'm going to just mix a blue and I'm going to put a little bit of violet in it to swing it more over this way to counteract for the yellow hair that I'm going to be putting it onto. Starting with conditioner. Adding in my Pravana blue, which is just blue, like just a straight, you know, that kind of blue. Love it. And you could add a little bit of red too if you wanted. You certainly could, like if you did not have purple, you could use red. You just have to use a lot less because it's going to be a lot stronger, obviously. You can only add so much red before you actually make the color turn purple. We don't want to make the color turn purple, we just want to give it a kind of purpley tone. So that's what I've got, a very blue. Remember that once this blue touches this yellow hair, it's going to go a bit more like a greeny blue, which is fine if you want that mermaid blue, not fine if you want a really royal blue though. So that's why I'm adding purple now. the stuff's really strong, so I'm just going to take like a little scrape. Little dot. And I'm going to change that now. Tiny little bit at a time, because you can always add more, but if you overdo it, it's going to be a lot harder to fix. You might not be able to fix it. You might have to just chuck the whole thing and start again, and then we're wasting product, you know. So less is more, and you can always add more. Don't worry about that. Okay, so I'm looking at that and I'm still thinking I want more purple, so I'm going to add more purple. You'll get to know, like, after you've used something for a long time, how strong it is too, and how much you know you're going to need to add. Okay, that's better. That's more like it. So it's still blue, but it's definitely starting to go like electric, like more purpley kind of blue. That's what I want because of the yellow. Now I just need a purple, and the purple. I think I want it to be this kind of purple. So I will mix, well, I'll just kind of mix it around here, because again, once the yellow hits it, it's going to swing it more to like a warm purple, and it's going to want to go around here. So it's not, I mean, I'm not really too bothered about that. I kind of like a warm purple. So here's how I'm going to mix my purple. The Privana Violet is a really blue-based purple. This is a magenta, which has got a lot of red in it. So I'm going to mix these two together to make a nice, I don't know how to explain, but a nice pinky kind of purple. That kind of colour is what I'm going for. Just put my conditioner in. I know this is super strong, so I'm going to use less of this. Just like a drop of that to double this. It's come out a little bit more pink than I wanted, so I'm going to add more purple. Or you could add blue. That would work too. Let's do that instead. Let's add blue. Just for argument's sake, say you don't have any purple. A little bit of blue in there. Instant change. It's so fun. I love doing this. It's so fun. So that is the kind of purple that I was wanting. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. I mean, again, the yellow is going to contribute. The yellow is going to keep it a warmer purple, but I really don't mind that. I like a nice warm purple. Right, now, so you've seen me formulate. I hope that has helped you kind of understand like the way that my brain works and the way that I will counter in my canvas when I'm formulating, rather than always having to pre-tone. Even though I have pre-toned this, but you know, purple shampoo is only going to do so much. So let's start sectioning. So the idea that I have today is there's going to be like rainbow panels kind of coming down in her side, but maybe she wants them to be a little bit hidden. So this is how I'm going to take it. Leave out, she usually parts her hair here, so we'll take a section like this and we'll do the rainbow panels like under here, so that when she wears her hair down, she's still got one color on the base, so it's not too crazy, but then she's got these beautiful rainbow highlights coming through, and when she wears her hair up and tied up in a bun, you'll be able to see them, but we've got a balayage, so it's not going to be too stripy on her face. That's just my thought process. And as a base color, I'm thinking like a coral kind of pink. Yeah, that's what I reckon. So you want to start by getting your sections ready, sectioning everything out. This is going to be quite a large rainbow panel. But I mean, we want it to be noticeable. So this is like a triangular section here that I've done that you can see. So that is where I'm going to do my rainbow. And the same on the other side as well. I'll be doing a rainbow there too. So if she parts her hair here naturally, that is where the rainbow is going to be. When she wears her hair down, try and visualize how that's going to look. So all this hair is going to fall over the top of that rainbow, and this hair we're going to keep one color. We're just going to do it pink. So she's going to feel like pink with a rainbow highlight. And yeah, that she might just feel a bit more comfortable with that, not having a full-on rainbow like right on top of her head. Because, you know, some people just want to dip their toe in. They're not ready for a full rainbow commitment. So yeah, you can already kind of start to visualize how this is going to look when you do that. Let's do the other side now. And it's not only just for you to visualize, I think it's also for your client. So what you can do is section all this out with them in the mirror, and then, you know, put these in a little bit of a braid if you want, and then throw this down and be like, here, this is how it is going to look. It just might help them visualize how it's going to look too. So all of this hair is going to be one color, and then we're going to have our rainbow panels just coming through underneath there. See? So if you want to wear your hair in a top knot, those rainbow pieces are going to be like popping out there. But if you want to go to work or feel a little bit less wild, you can wear your hair down and it's just going to kind of flash through. This is very universal.